I have this whole stack of books. Books will help you become a millionaire, and these books specifically will help you think like a millionaire. It doesn't just start with what you do, it starts with how you think. So you want to master your habits and your actions, but you also want to master how you think about money and how you think about what's possible. Let's dive in on some of my favorite tips from each of these books. Some are obvious, some are unexpected. I hope it helps. I want you to be rich. I want more good people to have the tool that is required to live a good life, to have freedom, to do what you want, to have time, to have abundance, health, all of the good things. Let's dive in. And if you want more videos on mastering your money, your mindset, your habits, and your emotions along the way to create a life you love, feel free to click subscribe. All right, first, High Performance Habits. This is by Brendon Burchard, who coaches millionaires and a few billionaires. And he teaches about key habits of high performers if you want to get the most out of your life. If you want to be a millionaire, yes, you could just invest in a low-cost index fund, set it and forget it, and you're good, and you'll be a millionaire in 30, 40, or 50 years. But if you want to create real wealth, if you want to create more wealth sooner, you have to master your habits and be someone worthy of creating wealth. It doesn't just happen on accident. Good things happen when you are intentional. And these habits that Brendon teaches about will help you to transform your life. Your habits create your life. And so if you don't like the results you're getting, take a look at the habits you are doing or not doing. Next is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This is critical because a lot of people think like a poor person, but they want to get rich. If you think like a poor person, you will not get rich. It's just like if you are thinking or acting like someone who is unhealthy, you will not get healthy. And so Robert talks about what his rich dad taught him versus what his poor dad taught him. And so if you want to create real wealth and real abundance, you have to start looking for mentors and people who actually are rich. We could have great parents, we could have great friends, great people around us, but if they don't have the result we want, or if they aren't rich like we want to be, we need to go find the people who actually are rich. So go find those people, go find those rich dads or moms out there, and you will be richer. Main Street Millionaire by Codie Sanchez. She came on the scene a few years ago, and she shares that you want to be an owner. She does talk about owning small businesses and boring businesses, but wealthy people are owners. They own assets, they own investments, they own businesses, they own real estate, they own intellectual property, they own things. And so rich people aren't just magically rich, they are owners and investors. And so this is a great book if you're interested in becoming an owner or owning a small business, but I want you to think about ownership and being an owner in your life. Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. He is one of my favorite mentors that has come on the scene lately as well. And he talks about your time. So many wealthy people talk about using your time efficiently. Even Ed Mylett, who is Dan Martell's coach, talks about one day is really 3 days if you chunk it up appropriately and really maximizing your time. Time is the greatest asset. We will never get more of it back. And so stop spending your time to make money. Instead, you want to spend money to get more time back, to get more freedom, to get more opportunities, to be able to do more. And so this book talks about how you can buy back your own time, your most valuable asset, how you can be more productive and create a life you love. The wealthiest people maximize their time, their schedule, and their day-to-day beautifully. Next is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. This one took the world by storm and has sold millions and millions of copies, and it's because it's how we think. How you think, your own psychology impacts how you feel and ultimately how you act. So if you don't understand yourself, you are not going to get rich or be fulfilled and happy. You have to understand yourself. You have to understand your patterns. You have to understand how we think about money and why we might be scared to take risks, why we might not want to take action, why we might hoard money, why we might do certain things that don't help us. And so when you understand and when you notice and recognize what you're doing, you can make a change to help you. And so I highly recommend this book. There's also Make Money Easy by Lewis Howes. That's a great one as well. Feel free to check it out. Understand you, be aware, and your whole life will change. Think and Grow Rich. This is the Bible for thinking like a rich person. It is. And so it is packed full of lessons that will help you think like a rich person. It was written a long time ago, but these principles still reign true. It talks about your fear. It talks about what you need to focus on. It talks about lessons of how people actually get rich and how it starts with their thinking. Everything begins and ends in the mind. And if you don't recognize that, acknowledge that, or see that, then you will create a life, but it won't be a life you love. And you'll wonder, why the heck do I have this life? And it is because of how you're thinking. Wealthy people don't just magically get wealthy. They're intentional and they know the right ways to think. And so this book is jam-packed with great things. I love just to read pages and study it, or I'll read it at the gym. Honestly, just reading one page from this book could change your life. Buy it, try it out. I'll link it below. And lastly, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. This one is awesome. It's so easy to read and so well laid out, and it will tell you different wealth files, about 17, of how a rich person would think and how a poor person and a middle class person would think. And so you could start thinking like the rich person, and it explains why and gives you some tips. Like this one is awesome. Dan Martell recommended it to me and I love it. I do have some videos on the channel about it. And so if you're interested, I'll link those below. But it's how you think. They think differently. They think differently. We're all people. We're all capable. We all have so much potential, no matter where we start. Because even if you don't have rich parents, or you didn't have rich parents, or you didn't have the best upbringing or whatever, the opportunities, you're still a person that's capable. And so many billionaires, millionaires started with nothing and had horrible situations. So don't count yourself out. You can change your life. You can, but you have to start programming your mind. You have to start acting like the person you want to become, and it will happen. You will become that. I have totally changed, and I'm continuing to change by reading, by studying, by implementing these things, and you can do it too. Feel free to check out any of these books. I'll make sure I link them below, or you can find them on Amazon or in your local bookstore, or some of them at your library. I hope it helps. I have more videos on more books you can read, or Habits Making Me a Young Millionaire, or The Blueprint to Become a Millionaire. I hope you check it out, and I hope you know how powerful you are, how capable you are, and that you can become rich, and you will if you decide and you start taking action now.